After mowing their lawn and cleaning up their yard all afternoon, my daughter-in-law walked up and said, "You missed a spot. Don't bother next time." My son didn't say a word as she shut the door in my face, my hands still dirty with soil. I didn't grow up with much. My father walked out when I was 9, and my mom did the best she could, working doubles at a diner just to keep the lights on. I went into trade work early, got certified as a diesel mechanic, and spent my whole life underneath engines, covered in grease, making sure other people could get where they needed to go. I never needed much, just a small house, a reliable truck, and my son, Tyler. Tyler was my world after his mom died. That woman was the love of my life, taken too damn early by a drunk driver on I-35. After the funeral, I went into the bathroom, looked myself in the mirror, and told myself I'd never let that boy down. And I didn't. I worked overtime. I packed his lunch. I helped with every science fair project. I taught him to drive. I even figured out how to braid hair for his little sister's doll when he asked me to, just because he missed his mom and wanted to feel close to her. That's the kind of dad I was. Tyler grew up different from me, quieter, more bookish. Got a scholarship to KU and left for college the second he graduated high school. I was proud, but I knew then he was slipping away from the life we'd known. Then came Marcy. I met her at a dinner when Tyler brought her home for Christmas break. She was polite, I guess, but distant. Everything I said seemed to amuse her, but not in a good way. She laughed at my boots when I left them outside the front door. Said it looked like something out of a Norman Rockwell painting if the painting got rained on. I didn't know what the hell that even meant, but Tyler chuckled, so I let it go. Marcy's parents had money. Big money. The kind of money that makes you forget what things cost. I overheard her once telling her mom on the phone that Tyler's dad, me, was nice enough, but very blue-collar, very basic. Basic. That word stuck in my gut. Still, I kept showing up. When they got married, I gave them 20 grand from my retirement. I didn't have to, but I wanted Tyler to feel like I was proud of him. He never thanked me. Neither did she. I stopped being invited to dinners. Holidays became texts. When they had their first kid, I dropped off a full week's worth of home-cooked meals. Marcy wouldn't open the door. Just told me through the ring cam to leave them on the step. I watched through my truck window as she opened one of the containers, smelled it, and set it aside like trash. The only time they reached out was when they needed something fixed or done. "Hey Dad, could you look at the furnace? Hey, the back gate's falling off. Do you have tools?" I never said no. Not once. So when Tyler called about the yard, I didn't think twice. "It's gotten away from us," he said. "We're swamped." I didn't even ask why they couldn't hire someone. I just said, "I'll be there Saturday morning." I loaded up my old mower and rakes, took 2 Advil and got there just after sunrise. The yard was bad. Grass up past my shins, flower beds full of weeds, branches down from that last storm. But I got to work. 5 hours straight. No break. No offer of water or anything from inside the house. I pulled weeds till my back locked up, raked up 4 full trash bags of yard waste, even cleaned out their clogged gutters while I was at it. When I finished, I walked up to the porch to let them know. That's when Marcy opened the door. She didn't say hello, just looked me over, sweat-soaked, dirt-covered, and said, "You missed a spot. Don't bother next time." Then she shut the door. Right in my face. Tyler was behind her. I saw him. He didn't even meet my eyes. Just stood there like he was made of cardboard. I stood on that porch for maybe 10 seconds, too stunned to move. Then I walked back to my truck. I sat there with my hands on the wheel, looking down at my nails full of soil. My heart was racing, not from the work, but from the shame. It was like I'd just been told I was worthless. Like I was a damn pest they wanted rid of. That night, I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. My mind went back through every damn favor, every sacrifice, every phone call I answered at 2 a.m. It all added up to this moment. Me, some dirty old man, dismissed like trash on the porch. I haven't heard from Tyler since. And I'm done waiting for the apology that's never coming. I don't want revenge out of pettiness. I want justice. I want him to feel what I felt that day. I want Marcy to realize what it means to look down on the man who helped raise the father of her children. And I will make damn sure they do. A week went by. Then another. Nothing from Tyler. I didn't expect an apology from Marcy. She's the kind of person who thinks admitting fault is weakness. But Tyler? My son? The boy I raised alone, who used to wait on the porch for me to come home, holding a picture he drew at school? I thought maybe, just maybe, he'd call. Even just a text. Hey, thanks for helping out. Sorry about how that went down. But there was nothing. Then something happened that made the knot in my chest tighten. My neighbor Judy called me up. Her grandson plays Little League with Tyler and Marcy's oldest. She said she saw Tyler and Marcy at the game and mentioned me, asked how I was doing. You know what Marcy said? Oh, he's getting too old to help much anymore. We're probably going to hire someone reliable next time. Reliable. Judy told me because she thought I should know. I thanked her, hung up, and sat in silence. Too old. Not reliable. I hadn't missed a day of work in 40 years. My hands still worked. My back still held up, even if it hurt. That woman wouldn't know hard work if it spit in her coffee. Then came the email. Tyler had attached me to a group message about setting up a college savings plan for their second kid. He listed everyone who was contributing, Marcy's parents, her aunt, even her sister's boyfriend. Said he'd be grateful if I could match what her parents were doing. That number? $5,000. Each year. No mention of the $20,000 I gave them. No mention of the hours I spent fixing their water heater, painting their fence, staying up late driving across town with medicine when their baby had a fever. Just a clean, cold number, like I was an ATM they hadn't finished with yet. I didn't reply, but I started digging. I pulled out old receipts, old emails, even bank transfers. I started cataloging everything I had done for them over the years. Every dollar. Every hour. I printed out photos of me fixing the gutter, of Tyler helping me put in their new mailbox, of the baby crib I built by hand in my garage. Then I checked something else, something I hadn't thought about in a long time. The deed to my house. Back when they were first struggling, I added Tyler to it. Just in case something happens to me, I said. I want you to be safe. He had just become a father, and I was thinking like a man who didn't expect to be around forever. At the time, it felt like love. Now it felt like a noose around my neck. I called a lawyer. Turns out removing someone from a deed isn't easy, but it's not impossible, especially if you can prove financial exploitation or coercion. And if I passed away with his name on the deed, Marcy would own half my house, over my dead body. So I made a will, a real one, bulletproof, every asset spelled out, every boundary clear, and I added one final clause, that a letter I wrote would be delivered to Tyler the day after I died. I poured everything into that letter, what he meant to me, what I gave up for him, and how he let someone treat me like dirt without so much as flinching. But I'm not waiting till I die. Because something inside me snapped the day Marcy shut that door in my face. Now I've started something. And when it's done, they'll both understand exactly who they pushed away. 2 more weeks passed. Then I got a letter in the mail. It wasn't handwritten. It wasn't from Tyler. It was from a property management company. At first, I thought it was junk. Then I saw the address. It was mine. The letter said they were evaluating the property's readiness for transition to long-term leasing and would begin exterior inspections within the month. I read that line 5 times. Leasing? My property. I called the number on the letter. The woman on the phone said Tyler's name had been listed as a co-owner and he had inquired about rental options in the event the home became vacant. Vacant? I didn't say a word. I just hung up. He was planning to rent out my home. The home I built. The one I raised him in. The one his mother died protecting. And he didn't even have the guts to call me. I tried to stay calm, but my hands were shaking. I walked into the garage and just stood there, surrounded by old tools, boxes of baby clothes I couldn't throw away, and shelves lined with dusty jars I hadn't touched in years. That's when I saw it, an old photo of Tyler and me from when he was 10. We were building a treehouse. He was holding a hammer that looked too big for his hand. He was smiling. I couldn't square that kid with the man who now saw me as a burden to be transitioned off my own land. I went back inside and made some calls. First to my lawyer. I started the process to file an affidavit of survivorship, which would begin the legal motion to remove Tyler's name from the deed. It'd be hard. It might get ugly, but I wasn't going to let them push me out of my own life. Then I called a friend, Bill, a guy I'd worked with for 20 years. His daughter works in child services. I told her everything I knew about Marcy, how she drank during her pregnancy, at least from what I saw at the time, how she left the kids alone with her teenage cousin while she and Tyler went out for mental health weekends. I didn't ask her to do anything illegal. I just said, maybe someone should check in. And then the final call, to Marcy's father. See, What Marcy didn't know was that her dad and I had talked a few times over the years, usually when something broke that needed fixing. He liked me more than she realized. Thought I was old school in a good way. I told him what his daughter had done. The way she spoke to me. The house. The leasing company. He didn't say much at first. Then he just said, "That girl's been acting like she's queen of the damn world ever since she was 15. Let me talk to Tyler." That was a Tuesday. By Friday, the leasing company called me back and said they were withdrawing all plans and had been misinformed about the property's ownership intentions. Tyler didn't call, but Marcy did. At 8:13 a.m. on a Saturday, I answered the phone and heard her voice, tight, clipped, like she was holding back rage. "I don't know what you think you're doing, but you've stirred up a whole lot of trouble." I didn't say anything. She went on. "My father's pissed. Tyler's a mess. And now we have a CPS visit scheduled next week because someone filed an anonymous report." I still didn't say anything. She finally shouted, "You think this is funny?" I just said, "I told you not to bother next time." And I hung up. But I'm not finished. There's still one more thing they don't know. Something I've been setting in motion behind the scenes. And when it hits, it'll make everything they've done look like a warm-up. 3 months passed. During that time, I kept my head down. I didn't answer calls. I didn't respond to emails. Tyler tried twice, texted once, then left a voicemail that sounded more like a hostage video than a real apology. "Hey, Dad, we should talk. This has gotten out of hand." "No, son. It got out of hand the day you let your wife treat me like hired help and shut the door in my face." While they spun in circles trying to patch up their image. Dealing with CPS interviews, explaining to their kids why grandma and grandpa weren't around, and backtracking with Marcy's dad, who apparently froze their college trust until they cleaned up their house, I was moving quietly. I hired a forensic accountant. It cost me more than I wanted to spend, but it was worth every penny. I gave her one job: look into every financial tie I had with Tyler and Marcy. The mortgage co-signed in 2017, the business loan Tyler asked for in 2020 to launch his short-lived landscaping startup, the $20,000 down payment I gifted with no legal contract. Turns out, Marcy and Tyler never reported that gift on their taxes. Worse, Tyler had listed it as a business investment when applying for a line of credit. That's fraud. I brought this to my lawyer. We filed a formal claim on the business filing, proving my funds were misrepresented. The loan was immediately flagged, and the bank launched an audit. It froze their joint accounts. That same week, I filed a civil suit, not for damages, not for money. Just a formal petition that stated I was defrauded, that Tyler and Marcy used my assets without consent or documentation for personal gain. The lawsuit wouldn't win me millions. But that wasn't the point. It would go public. And it did. The local paper ran a small story. Man sues son over misused home loan. Fraud allegations tied to landscaping business. It didn't name them directly, but the people who knew, they connected the dots. Marcy's social circle started backing away. The moms who used to gossip with her at school drop-off? Silent. The charity board she served on? Quietly asked her to step down. Tyler, he was removed from the local bank where he worked as a junior loan officer. A conflict of interest investigation sealed that fate. His name, once whispered proudly at city events, was now a red flag. Then I pulled the final pin. Remember that treehouse photo? I scanned it, printed it, and sent it in a plain envelope to Tyler's house. On the back, I wrote one sentence. "This is who you used to be. I don't recognize who you are now." That was it. No lawyers. No yelling. No demands. Just a reminder. They've gone quiet since. The lawsuit is still pending, but that's just legal residue now. The real revenge is done. They're isolated. Their reputation cracked. And every time they look at each other, they have to remember who put them there, not out of spite, but because I gave everything I had, and they treated me like a chore. I still live in my house. Still mow my own lawn. Sometimes, I sit on the porch and think about the kind of man I raised, and how easily love turns into silence when pride gets in the way. But I don't regret any of it. Because now, they know. I may be old. I may be quiet. But I am not someone you walk over. Not without consequences.